Pray silence for the Chairman of the TheCityUK, Mr. Gerry Grimstone.
Deputy Prime Minister, my Lord Mayor, Your Excellencies, Lords, ladies and gentlemen. I'd first like to thank you, Nick, not just for coming along this evening, but making such a thoughtful speech, and a speech that was genuinely supportive of the city and the people in this room. I'm, of course, very pleased to be here this evening speaking as the new chairman of the TheCityUK. Stuart Popham passed the baton to me just before this dinner. Hardly time in which to prepare a speech, Stuart. And I would like to give a deep thanks to Stuart as he relinquishes the chairmanship. Stuart was an inspirational first choice to lead the organisation, and a great deal of its early success is due to his vision and the board which he so ably chaired. And of course, we've already heard the outstanding work done by Chris Cummings and his colleagues, and also the guidance of the Advisory Council, led by my old friend and colleague, Wyn Bischoff. But as an organisation, we are nothing without our members. It's their participation which makes us what we are and gives us our legitimacy. It's their voices which we seek to represent. And of course, it's their money which we are spending. And as chairman, I will constantly ask myself, is the TheCityUK making a difference? And are we doing it in the most efficient and effective way possible? I'm, of course, very conscious that we represent the financial and related professional services industry in its entirety. And not just in this great city of London, but throughout the UK. For example, in Edinburgh, Bristol, Birmingham, Leeds, Manchester, Liverpool, the Isle of Man, the Channel Islands, and of course, with the Deputy Prime Minister here, I can't leave out Sheffield. Local businesses are dependent on the City of London's success, with new jobs being created across the UK because of success in London, and that success in turn feeding back to London. And as we've heard, it fuels an industry that provides over 2 million jobs across the UK. Let's just remind ourselves that our sector employs almost 10% of the national workforce. We contributed £63 billion in tax last year that went directly into the government's coffers to fund the health service, our schools and infrastructure. We are the largest export earner, £47 billion last year. That is more than the rest of all net exporters in the UK combined. Now, the city, as we all know, is composed of a wonderful tapestry of organisations, services and sectors. Our sister organisations do great work in their various sectors, and I will work closely with them. And of course, our tremendous supporter and partner, the City of London Corporation, so as to ensure there is no duplication of effort or resources. And it's our role to demonstrate that the sum of the various sectors is far greater than their parts. It's the clustering together of the various services represented here tonight that makes the city what it is and helps ensure the competitiveness that is so vital, not just to our success, but the enormous contribution we make to the United Kingdom as a whole. And as chairman of a great Scottish company, I certainly include Scotland in that. Now, it's a humbling task taking over the chairmanship of the TheCityUK at this time. I don't think there's ever been a time when not just the ethics of our industry are under close scrutiny, but our very usefulness is sometimes challenged. We have to remember that we are one of the great, if not the greatest industry in the UK. There cannot be growth in the UK without us. Now, my 30 years of experience of working in and around financial services all over the globe has taught me many things, but I think I can sum it up in one phrase: doing the right thing. And I intend to put this phrase at the heart of my chairmanship. Doing the right thing by our stakeholders, our customers and clients, our shareholders, our employees, and society as a whole. Doing the right thing, of course, means obeying rules and regulations, but just as importantly, it means acting within the spirit of the rules and certainly not looking for loopholes or ways around them. Positive values have always underpinned the life of the city, and today we have an opportunity to restate the values that are truly timeless, all the while retaining the sector's hard-earned reputation for excellence, innovation, and ambition. All of us in this room, we have to ensure that the UK financial services sector conducts its business in line with the highest standards and integrity. And where does responsibility lie for this? I have to say, I believe it lies at the very top of companies and partnerships, with boards, and in particular with the chairman of boards. And as one of the longest-standing chairmen of a major financial services company in the UK, I see company ethics, integrity, and corporate governance at the core of my responsibilities. I'm sure other fellow chairmen feel the same way, and I call upon them to make it a very visible part of their responsibilities. We need to get ahead of past issues and fundamentally rebuild the integrity and trust that had underpinned the city's success for generations. We know that there are lessons to be learned, and there's a need to focus on ethical change rather than behavioural compliance. And we have to redouble our efforts as a sector to drive home the message that doing the right thing is as important as obeying the rules. It's outcomes, not processes, that are important. Financial and professional services are at the heart of a modern economy and are capable of great good, but also of causing great damage, as we've seen in recent years. And because of this, it's too naive to think that society won't demand a tough regulatory regime for us all to operate within. And I have to say, it is our responsibility to work with regulators to ensure that we are working within the standards that society demands of us, and for regulators to work with us to ensure that regulation focuses on safety and better outcomes for customers, and is also proportional to the task in hand and does not stifle innovation or development. We must all unite around the need for a more consumer-centric industry, one where the industries and the regulators' agendas are properly aligned on delivering better outcomes for the consumer and society at large. What do people really think of us? These statistics are terrible. There's a regular survey which measures the net perception of various industries. For example, Apple score plus 70% in the UK. Accountants score minus 9%. Lawyers, don't get too cocky anybody, lawyers minus 21%. Life insurers minus 29%. And banks and banking in the UK minus 46%. Only to be beaten by payday lenders, which score minus 78%. And it's very tempting to shrug this off and to think that it's not our company that people are thinking about, it's all the others. The problem is that the data clearly shows that what they think about others also influences the way that they think about us. Sadly, we really are all in this one together. How can we correct this? There is an important point in the description of our industry: financial and professional services. And I sometimes think that we forget services should be about the desire to serve. And at some point, some of us lost that desire to serve, and we need to bring that back into focus. That means proving our value and regaining trust and credibility in the eyes of a skeptical public. And to do so, a fundamental realignment is required. Putting the customer at the very heart of our industry, a new deal for our customers and clients. In doing that, we realize the fundamental reality that is at the centre of financial services, that unless we are making a contribution to people's lives, directly and indirectly, we are not serving the final ultimate purpose of the industry that we all work in. Before I finish this evening, it would be remiss of me not to say something about our global agenda. I have a clear message for us all here tonight. London's role as the global financial centre is under threat. We cannot take for granted that the businesses which have historically come here, that business will continue to do so. We cannot take for granted that the global businesses which are located here, many represented here tonight, will continue to see us as their major international hub. We cannot take for granted that protectionism will not rear its ugly head, which is why our work in the liberalisation of trade and services is so important. Overseas promotion will be a major task of my chairmanship, and I'm looking forward to continuing and invigorating our work in this area. Exports are so important to the UK that government ministers, the FCO and the UKTI, must make our industry one of their top and enduring priorities. But as we've heard from Nick, our most immediate international focus must be Europe. It is really poppycock to believe that the city can survive in its present form if it is not an integral part of the European financial services framework. London must have, if it is to survive, complete and unfettered access to the wholesale euro markets. As Nick has said, our role in Europe is as important as our role in the UK. And I don't think we have done enough to articulate this positively and clearly in Brussels, Frankfurt, Paris, and elsewhere. Europe needs us, and we need Europe. We are not just the UK's financial centre, we are also the EU's financial centre, supporting and servicing businesses and many millions of people across Europe. We have not made the case strongly enough how important it is that the UK remains the EU's financial centre. We know that London benefits from attracting firms that want easy access to the single market. Those firms arrive here and create jobs across the UK as their operations develop. We need to protect and promote the single market and work hard to ensure that the regulatory structures and systems continue to prize it. This means greater engagement at a European level, given the weight of regulation that now emanates from Brussels, and taking steps to ensure this occurs at an earlier stage, playing a larger role in proactively informing and shaping the EU and wider international policy agenda. Whether it's banking union or particular directives such as MiFID, we need to be at the table. Our voice needs to be heard. The Bank of England's voice needs to be heard. The Treasury's voice needs to be heard with an open, constructive and thoughtful approach. The UK voice needs to be constructively heard. Embracing Europe can but help to serve to strengthen the UK's reputation as the leading destination to do business and ensure that we stand on an equal footing with other jurisdictions around the globe. It is imperative that the UK maintains its leading position by taking charge of its future rather than responding to an agenda that it is not helped to shape. The City UK has already come further, faster than any of us would have envisaged. Our members now have a platform to engage with Europe's new policy makers, regulators and opinion formers in a way that was not possible before. And with your continued support, with the support of the people in this room, we will continue to fulfill the vision set out for us and improve the business climate. There is lost ground to be recaptured and new challenges lie ahead. But by working together, I really think we can make a difference. I hope from my remarks tonight you get a sense as to what kind of chairman I will be and what I intend to be my priorities. But I can achieve none of this without the support and encouragement of the people in this room, and I look forward to working with you all on this. Finally, evenings like this, of course, simply don't just happen by themselves. And I have to take the time to thank Claire Stuffins and Rebecca Utton from the City UK, and of course the kind support of Mansion House. I wish you all a safe journey home, but before you go, please join us for after-dinner drinks in the salon outside. Thank you all very much.